Good day, everyone. Today, I'll be presenting on the topic Principles of Child Development. In this presentation, we'll explore the key ideas that guide how we understand and support the growth and learning of children. I'm Ms. Jenica Alexis Ramirez Aniana, and I hope this session helps us all think more deeply about how to care for and teach children in ways that respect their unique needs. First, let's define child development. It is a process by which children grow and change physically, cognitively, socially, and emotionally from birth through adolescence. So understanding principles of child development is crucial. It helps caregivers, parents, and educators plan appropriate activities, identify when extra support is needed, and create safe, nurturing environments. So by knowing these principles, we can respect individual differences and promote every child's well-being and learning.
Now let's talk about the different principles of child development.
Our first principle is that child development follows a predictable and sequential pattern. For example, most babies learn to hold their head up before they sit, then crawl, then stand, and finally walk. Similarly, language moves from cooing to babbling to words and sentences. Although there's variation in timing, the sequence stays fairly consistent. So knowing these typical patterns helps us recognize when development is on track and when there might be delays that need attention. The second principle is that development proceeds at different rates for different children and even across different domains in the same child. For example, a child might develop strong language skills early but take longer with fine motor skills like writing. So growth is also uneven over time. So infancy and adolescence have rapid changes, while other periods are slower. So as teachers, we need to be patient and recognize that every child has their own pace. The third principle emphasizes that development is shaped by both maturation and experience. Maturation is a natural unfolding of genetic potential like teeth coming in or puberty. So experience is what the child learns from their environment, such as language exposure or social interaction. Both are essential. So a child might have the genetic potential to speak, but without hearing language, they won't develop it fully. So this tells us that the environment must provide rich and supportive experiences. The fourth principle reminds us that all areas of development are connected. Physical, cognitive, social, and emotional growth influence each other. For example, a child who is malnourished may have less energy to play and explore, affecting the cognitive development. So emotional well-being impacts learning because an anxious child may struggle to concentrate. So this holistic view guides us to support all domains of development rather than focusing on just one. Next is the idea that development is continuous and cumulative. Children's growth builds on what came before. Skills don't appear out of nowhere. They develop gradually over time. Early experiences lay the foundation for later abilities. For instance, secure attachment in infancy supports social relationship later on. So this highlights the importance of giving children positive, consistent experiences early on because these shape their future growth. In the sixth principle, it is about respecting individual differences. Even though development follows patterns, every child is unique. They have different temperaments, learning styles, interests, and abilities. One child may be shy, another outgoing. Some learn best through movement, others through listening. So, recognizing these differences helps us tailor our teaching so that every child can thrive and feel valued. Our seventh principle is that development is shaped by culture and context. Family traditions, beliefs, community expectations, and socioeconomic status all influence how children grow. For example, some cultures value independence early on, while others emphasize family interdependence. So educators must be culturally responsive, understanding, respecting, and adapting to the cultural backgrounds of the children in their care. In Principle 8, it refers to sensitive periods. It is the time when the brain is especially ready to learn certain skills. For example, early childhood is a key period for language development, right? So, if children don't get rich language exposure during this window, it can be harder to catch up later. So, knowing about sensitive periods helps us plan timely and appropriate learning experiences to maximize children's potential. So, how do these principles help us in practice? First, they remind us to plan age-appropriate activities that match children's developmental levels. We need to support all domains like physical, cognitive, social, and emotional. We also have to respect individual differences and, of course, their cultural backgrounds. And finally, our environments should be safe, welcoming, and nurturing so children feel secure to explore and learn. And these principles guide us to be thoughtful and responsive caregivers and educators. To summarize my report, child development follows predictable patterns but is shaped by many factors including biology, experience, and culture. It is holistic, continuous, and varies for each child. So by understanding these principles, we can better support healthy growth, learning, and well-being for all children. Our role as a teacher is to create environments and experiences that respect their needs and help them reach their full potential. Once again, thank you so much for listening, and here are some of the references that inform this presentation. So these include textbooks and professional guidelines on child development. So I encourage you to consult them for further learning.